Parents of Reddit. What was the worst thing you got caught doing by your children? Not me, but a friend of mine. He self-medicated with alcohol and drank around his kids almost constantly. One occasion he was angry about something one of the kids did. His youngest daughter went to the fridge and handed him a beer and told him he needed to calm down. He hasn't had a drop since. I'm not a parent, but I caught my dad having an affair on my stepmom. With my mom. Luckily I didn't see anything horrific. When my daughter was in elementary school, she needed a jump drive for something. I gave her one that I knew was okay. The day that she needed it, she tried it and there was some kind of a problem with it. So I grabbed another one to give to her. You probably already guessed it. There was that folder on there from when I was tossing away an old backup hard drive. She must have opened it up. She did not tell me about it until she was about 19. All I could do was say whoops. My 5-year-old, who was supposed to be sleeping, decided to barge into our room while I was on top of my significant other. I was already yelling no. No. No while the door was opening. So he only got a glimpse while chewing around to shut the door. I threw some clothes on and followed him out to tuck him back into bed. He asked me what I was doing on top of dad. So me, being my quick thinking self, told my son that I was cracking dad's back. Lol. Son says, "Oh, like Dr. Kevin? My chiropractor." I said exactly like that. I was changing my daughter when she was a toddler, who was about 14 months old, and the little monkey was wriggling around trying to escape. She almost fell off the change table. And I said poop. There was a few seconds of silence, which was broken by her little voice saying poop perfectly. Oh. I was sure that she'd start saying that all of the time because I laughed when she said it. She didn't say it again. Though. Changing that kid's nappy was like trying to put clothes on a cat. Luckily toddlers don't have claws and she wasn't a biter. Eating chocolate without sharing. Not the parent but the child in this story. We all moved in with my grandma as times were hard. My mom really hated grandma. To the point apparently she didn't even want to walk through the house to pee. We were all watching a movie in my mom's room. And I see a can of Lay's Tax, like Pringles. Pop that sucker open and tilted it down to get me some chips. But got covered in my mom's piss instead. She was peeing in a Lay's can. Went straight to the shower and they never knew. But WTF. Back in time, people recorded TV shows on VHS tapes. My uncle brought us a documentary about wild animals in Africa. It was a Sunday night. All family gathered. Me, 10 years old. My sister, 5-year. My parents and my grandparents, i.e. my uncle's parents, were sitting on the couch to see it. Let's just say that what we saw was wild. Very wild. As soon as he realized that it was his porn tape, he desperately tried to shut it down, pressing all the buttons on the remote. Having failed, he stood up and pressed our old TV buttons, failing to change the channel and increasing the sound in process. So I was laughing. My sister wasn't understanding anything. My grandma was covering his eyes. Grandpa was paralyzed in shock. Mom and dad also trying to help my poor uncle. In the end, someone managed to eject the tape. It all happened in like 5 seconds, but I'm sure for my uncle it lasted a lot more than that. When my son was about 7 or 8, me and the wife were jetting it on in the early hours of the morning. My wife said she locked our bedroom door, and to this day she would swear that she did. We were being very quiet, but he walked into our room so quietly we didn't hear him. All of a sudden I hear my wife say, "Jake." Dart. I turned my head and there he was, just standing next to the bed with a very confused look on his face. Not exactly bad. More awkward. My husband was checking my nether regions for ingrown hairs. I've got a bad back and poor eyesight. So yes, I need help with that. All of a sudden our 3-year-old is at our bedside, asking if she could have a glass of water. We decided to just act normal and not make a big deal about it. She never mentioned it to us or anyone. So I think we dodged a bullet. Having a depression nap sob in bed. I wasn't doing anything wrong. But I wish she hadn't seen. At least until she was old enough to understand. I talk alone all the time. My children are under 2. Soon. They'll realize their mom likes to discuss with herself. Oh well. Caught my dad wanking to an episode of Jerry Springer once. Not a parent story as my kids are still babies, but that was horrible. Dad never knew I saw either. My wife and I during one of our rare copulations were doing it on the couch. I had like a 30-second orgasm that was loud and proud. The stairs to our house have a landing where you look around the wall and see the whole living room. After my unusually and exceedingly long orgasm, I hear my 6-year-old's voice emanating from the stairs asking, "Daddy, why are you laying on mommy?" Going oh oh oh. Up. I stubbed my toe and it hurt so much I fell over on mommy. Go to bed, and he did. I'm pretty sure he'll put it together when he's old enough. Not a parent. But a forever scarred child. I think I was like 10 when this happened. I had recently discovered the wonderful world of picking locks with bobby pins and walked around the house checking for locked doors I could pick. I found a door that was locked and it was my parents' bedroom door. I proceeded to pick it and saw my dad's naked ass sticking up in the air, and that's about it before my mom yelped when she realized the door was open now. I quickly shut the door and ran to my room 2 floors down. I stopped picking bedroom door locks after that. Edit, my name is not Jake. That would have been one hell of a coincidence though. My kid got my wife and I doing one thing that we usually do when he goes sleep. He busted us for eating McNuggets and ice cream 15 minutes later that Uber Eats driver delivered it to us. He was furious, haha. Daughter caught me drinking straight from the milk jug. Not my personal story. But I have a friend who when she was about 10 or so walked in on her parents going at it. Rightly horrified. She ran downstairs to the basement and promptly walked in on her older sister and some guy going at it too. She says that she didn't talk to any of them for a week. Poor kid. My so's daughter caught her giving me a BJ. Worst part was that we didn't notice and she didn't say anything till the next morning. We are eating breakfast and she just blurts out, "Is Jim 3 strokes PP okay? I saw mommy kissing it an awful lot last night." There were 3 other kids in the room and 2 of them knew exactly what she was talking about. When I was playing GTA 5 and he caught me kicking cats in game. It took me several hours to calm him down. He was perfectly fine with all the murder and thefts. But kicking cats was the line in the sand. There's a few of you that typed it out. But then didn't have the courage. Got caught by my 6-year-old getting it on. My BF was on top. Luckily we heard some noise outside the door and pulled the blanket on us. He asked why my BF was on me and I told him I was really cold. When he was 7 he tried coming in when my BF was going down on me. We thought he went back downstairs. We would put a movie or show on for him and go upstairs to do stuff, but he didn't. I walk out of the room and he was there sitting at the top of the stairs and asked why was I panting so much. Folding laundry is just so much work. I was a witness. I was volunteering at a festival. Parking was kinda far away with shuttle buses taking people back and forth. Guy is told he has to fold his stroller up to get on the bus. He tries to fold it and has trouble cause his kid was still in it. It wasn't a one try and realize. It was like 3 tries where he put his weight into it before he realized. He was basically folding his kid's feet to forehead. Kid was doing the silent cry. Then started wailing. Dad kinda noped out of there as quick as he could. Not a parent. I couldn't sleep one night. For some reason I was wandering around the apartment. I saw the balcony doors were open and my mom was sitting on the railing of the half balcony ledge with her legs dangling out. Probably thinking about jumping. She could have easily just scooted forward a couple of inches and gone over the side. 7th floor. I started sobbing and begging her to come in. She did eventually. Calling me an idiot. Stupid. ruining everything. She's an alcoholic, so I saw a lot over the years before I moved out at 19, but that one stays with me. Edit, typo. I'm not a parent. But when I was 15 I caught my parents snorting coke with their friend in my little brother's room. They told me it was powdered sugar. BC it was on a plate. They thought that was rational. I still can't believe their nerve. They've recovered since then. And our relationship is way better now. As an adult, I try to cut them some slack. Parenting is hard already. And when you're a struggling addict it is even more so. But as a teen I hated them. Not only for the addiction, but also for insulting my intelligence like they did. Still something I think about that I need to let go. Pulling a string out of our dog's anus. So many questions. She told random strangers. Eating the last ice cream bar while hiding so they couldn't see me eating the last ice cream bar. GF's son. Laughing his ass off. Told us he saw mommy jumping on you. My son when he was about 3 was occupied watching Paw Patrol or something, so the wife and I snuck away for some sex. Swore I locked the door. So anyways, I'm pounding away and feel the impending orgasm brewing. Door starts to rattle. I finish just as the door opens. Son with a huge grin shouts "Yay," clearly happy to have gotten the door open, as my wife and I quickly cover ourselves up. I had my husband's dong in my mouth when my daughter bursted into the room. It was devastating. She brings it up occasionally but doesn't remember what was happening, but that something didn't seem right. She actually just brought it up last week. I mean, it happens every day. I go into the bathroom to have a $sign hit in 5 minutes apiece. And one of them barges in to announce some inane grievance about the other one. Sneaking some ready whip. It's my kid's favorite thing and I will never forget the look of utter betrayal on her face when she caught me. Anal. Vocal. Uncovered by the sheets. Doggy style anal. The worst part is that 3-year-olds can be pretty insistent when asking what frick my ass baby means. When you tell them it's something only grown-ups can say and that you'll tell them what it actually means when they're older, they will turn right around and ask grandpa, their daycare teacher and every other adult they encounter without your supervision. Which is probably to be expected. But what you don't think about is the fact that the 3-year-old will explain what he saw to each of those adults and that each and every one of them will fully understand what the kid witnessed and will have opinions about it that they feel the need to share with you. Edit, for anyone interested. The grandpa in question was my father-in-law. So while I may have been a bit flippant with his concerns, see below, I have some sympathy for the man who had to at least briefly picture his little princess getting duped up the poop chute. Getting rammed from behind in the bathroom. Forgot to lock the door. Not been caught doing anything sus by my kids as far as I know. But when I was a kid, probably 6 or 7, I opened the door to my parents' room to see dad plowing mum doggy style. They both immediately, in one graceful movement, separated and got back under the covers. I didn't really understand or care what I saw. I was just a kid with no compression that I wasn't meant to see it. Or that I should be horrified. I just had something that I needed to tell them. It wasn't until many years later that I clicked and realized what I saw. Not a parent. But I did get caught by my mom having hanky-panky when I was 15. She walked in on my BF and I doing it doggy style. She screamed and slammed the door. My BF was horrified. I waited like 15 minutes and went out to the living room where she was, and she was laughing on the phone with her friend telling them what she just saw. When I was in 6th grade, I went to an alternative school after being expelled. I was introduced to drug use here. One day, I came home and my apartment reeked of weed. I asked my mom why it smelled like pot in the house and she swore it was just some smelly stuff. I'm 18 now. She admitted that it was actually weed. This isn't a parent story, but when I was about 14 years old I used to wake up every early morning to go visit my grandparents who lived right next to me. It was about 7 AM and I went into their house. I didn't hear them talking nor were they making food, so I was concerned. I opened their bedroom door and I was scared. Lol, caught them having hanky panky, missionary, on the floor. My grandpa didn't bat an eye, but I made eye contact with my grandma for half a second before I shut the door and ran back to my house next door. I laid in disbelief and felt as if I could never see them face to face again. Thankfully my grandpa and I talked normally later that day, so that was good. Lol. Got caught eating her candies while thinking she was asleep. It was the worst. I'm an alcoholic, though sober for 8 years. My son was in high school. He had given up baseball, but we kept his bad bag in the garage. He never used it. I had a couple of empty vodka bottles in it. He decided to bat the ball around with his girlfriend. Not good. Hey you. Thanks for watching Reddit stories. If you enjoyed the video, consider hitting like and subscribing. Your support means a lot. We also have a Discord community where we will be running giveaways and fun surprises throughout the year. Come along and meet some new friends. You look great today.